Hello again, YouTube. We're doing something a little different today. Pulling crankbaits to catch these crappie. So stick with us. I'm gonna show you guys how I do it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna catch a lot of fish. We'll be right back with you. One, guys. Small fish. That's on the flicker shad, guys. That's a pink fire tiger flicker shad, pink. That's a little crappie, white crappie. See, little fish will hit crankbaits too, guys. You're not just gonna catch the big ones, you'll catch little ones too. So guys, real quick, let's talk about, hang on, let me see if you guys can see me good. Oh yeah, you can see me fine. All right, so real quick guys, let's talk about the rig and the setup that we're doing today. So pulling crankbaits, I like to pull 6 rods. We got 4 out right now, hadn't quite got them all out, but I want to show you guys how I rig my crankbaits. Okay, so the way I rig my crankbaits and pull my crankbaits is I like to use a 2-ounce inline weight, which I attach to the main line. I always like a swivel. That swivel helps keep line twist out if you get a crankbait that starts spinning down there on you. Sometimes they don't run perfectly true. Sometimes you have to adjust a crankbait. But I like an inline weight. That inline weight, guys, it does several things. So first it allows me to get down to any depth that I want that crankbait to. So we all know pulling crankbaits, you've got line charts where, you know, you're out so far and it's this depth with this crankbait. Well, running these inline weights like this, it allows me to put any crankbait that I want at the depth that I want it at. So what I generally say is 2/3 of your line length is your depth, running anywhere from 1 mile an hour to about 1.6. You're gonna get about 2/3 of your depth with these inline weights. So if you got 15 feet of line out, okay, you got 15 feet of line out, you're gonna run about 10 feet, okay? So there's my inline weight on my line. I got my main line coming down to the swivel, my weight, and then I've got about a 3 to 3.5 foot leader. And I'm just gonna tie my crankbait straight onto that leader. So let me grab a crankbait here. All right, so we're just gonna tie this directly to the leader. I do not use a swivel, okay? A lot of guys say to use swivels on your crankbaits. I do not use a swivel, guys. You can use a swivel if that's what you want to do. If you want to use a swivel, that's perfectly fine. I don't see any reason that they run any different personally, but I just don't run a swivel. It would make it easier on changing crankbaits out if you wanted to change them. I typically run a lot of different colors, and I don't typically change my crankbaits a whole lot. So there you have it. There's your Arky 220. That is an Arky 220. That's what I prefer to run. They're a little smaller. Crankbait's about 2 inches long. I like them. They come out of the package. They've got great hooks on them. They're sharp out of the package. They run good out of the package. That's what I typically run. So there's my rig, guys. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I got my swivel. I got my weight, 2 ounce to about a 3.5 foot leader, 4 foot leader, and my crankbait. Now, rods. Let's talk rods. So, I use the same rods, guys, for pulling crankbaits that I use long line trolling or pulling planer boards. I use the same rods. That's the great thing about these inline weights and these crankbaits. Running it this way, I can use the same set of rods literally to do everything. So I'm using ACC crappie sticks. I've got, well, let's talk on this side. So I got a 12 footer, a 10 footer, and an 8 footer. I like to run 6 rods when I'm by myself. It keeps me from getting too busy. 6 rods is plenty for one person. So I run 6. Like I said, I've got a 12 footer, a 10 footer, and an 8 footer on both sides. Okay, that's what I like to run. That's my rod setup. It works good for me. Great rods. They handle those crankbaits and those heavy weights very, very, very well. Just a well-built rod, you can't beat them. Good fish right here, guys. Oh yeah, that's what we're looking for right there. Good fish. Good solid crankbait fish. Look at that fish. That fish got that crankbait all the way down there in his mouth. Look at that. They will choke a crankbait, guys, in the summer. For sure. It's a good fish. Let's see if I can get him off without hurting him. There we go. Nice crappie, guys. Nice white crappie. Nice summer crankbait fish. So what we're doing today, guys, is we're actually just trolling the creek channel. So we're finding the creek channel in these major creeks, okay? And we're just staying right in the middle of that creek channel. We're trying to stay as close to that creek channel as we can. Those fish, it's summer, it's hot. They get out in this creek channel and they suspend. And we're just trying to locate those pods of fish that are suspended in this open water in this creek channel. We're not looking for structure. We're not really looking for brush or trees. I mean, if we come across a brush pile or some trees, that's a bonus. Typically, there's fish hanging around those. There's fish on right here. Nope, he come off. Typically, there's fish hanging around those areas with that structure. If we come across it, great. If we don't, we're just trying to stay in that creek channel. How we're doing that is we're using our maps. I got my units right down here. I'm using my map and I'm just trying to stay in what they define as that creek channel. Plus I got my side imaging rolling, so I'm looking and I can see that creek channel drop and I see where that creek channel is located so I can stay on it. Here's a fish. Come here, baby. Good fish. Good fish. Just following that creek channel, guys. Gotta watch out for them hooks. Them hooks will get you. They'll get you. That's white crappie. Thank you, buddy. There's fish on. It's another good fish right here, guys. Not as big as I thought he was. Nice summer crankbait fish. Woo! Watch them hooks, guys. They'll get you. They'll get you. So one thing I'm noticing is the further back in the creek I get, the more defined thermocline I'm seeing. So I'm seeing a thermocline that's setting up back here in the back of the creek at about 13 to 14 foot. the fish that I was catching out towards the main channel were in that 13 to 14 foot. So I'm gonna turn around and go back towards the main channel because the fish that I've been seeing today are above what the thermocline's setting up right now. So I don't want to go any further back because that thermocline's gonna mess with my fish. Fish on. Decent fish. Fish. So right now what we're doing, we're running 1.3. 1.2, 1.3 is about what I found they want today. So we're running 1.3, got it on cruise control. And we're just, again, following this creek channel. We're jumping out of the creek channel a little bit. I found some fish that are up on flat, or up on the flats next to the creek channel. So we're jumping out of the creek channel now a little bit, trying to just kind of locate these isolated fish that are suspended. But we're running 1.3 mile an hour. Fish on, guys. That's a good summer crappie. Calm down. That's on the Arky. That's a silver with a black back. Another nice fish. Good fish. Good fish. Good crankbait fish, guys. Calm down, calm down. Get off there. Man, them hooks. So many hooks. Nice crappie, guys. On back. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for today's show. I appreciate you guys watching. Go get yourself some crankbaits. Try the Arky 220 and the Arky 330. They're great crankbaits to pull in the summer. Get yourself some inline weights. You can do it on your regular long line rods or your planer board rods. You don't have to have special rods to do it. Don't forget guys, if you have not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. We've got a 10,000 subscriber giveaway coming up. When we get to 10,000 subscribers, we're almost there. We're at 8,000 now. So when we get to 10,000, we're going to give away a weekend trip with me in East Tennessee. All you'll have to pay is your gas to get here. Everything else is on Wired for Crappie. We're going to fish 2 different lakes, 2 different days. We're going to fish Saturday, Sunday, probably 8 hours each day. Probably have dinner one night. It's going to be a blast. So if you hadn't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you guys for watching. And as always, God bless. We'll see you later.